Okay, so we are starting again. Let's just run our applications and see where we are. We were able to add in, images or at least objects and populate our collection view with those objects. So what does that mean? I was able to go select an image, for example, in my photo library here. Go to my photos, click on a photo, and we were able to test that adding an object to the collection view works because now I have one cell here. So if I was to add more cells or more images, for example, I will get more cells as well. So right now I have two objects in my collection view. Great, okay. Let us go ahead and continue working on populating what the image is. And then after that, we'll go into the video portion of it, right? So for now, at least we should be able to see the image that we added here. So let's go ahead and do that. To get that started, let's navigate to the media cell. So everybody navigate to the media cell. Or first click on the storyboard because we need to connect that up. We don't have that yet. Click on the storyboard, option click on the media cell. Okay, great. And put your scene next to your cell class, like so. Lesson has started. And I'll also put the link as well. It's the same link we said, but copy link and paste the link in here. All right, cool. So now we want to go ahead and control drag from our cell to add that image here so we have access to the image. So let's go ahead and do so. Open up the documents directory to make sure that you are selecting the image view. So we'll drag from our image view over to our cell class, image view, drag over. Do we not have that cell yet? Let's see. I thought we did this already. Go to our class. So click on the media cell. Click on the media cell in your documents outline. Click on the media cell. And let's change the class here to media cell. So make sure your class is media cell. Media cell manages this cell here in our collection view. And now we are able to control drag our image. So make sure it's the image you're selecting, or select the image view from the document outline and control drag over. And we are calling it, what are we gonna call this? Media image view. Yeah, that's fine because it's actually gonna be for both the video and the image, because they both will have some sort of image. So connect. So now we have our image view, that's great. Next, we could actually close that out because we don't need it now. We'll probably come back to it to add some more UI elements, but we just want to make sure our cell populates correctly with an image. So that's enough for now. We could actually close out of the storyboard and continue writing. Who's making tea? I heard a kettle. So let's go ahead and write our configure cell method. Configure cell for media object. And this is of type media object. And for now, what are we getting? We're getting back a media object. We're getting back an image object. Well, we can configure this if we don't have an image object, right? So let's just guard let image data equal to media object dot image data, else return, because we need the media object, regardless of if it's a video or an image, it should have a media object, a media data associated to it. So here we could write in regardless if the media is an image or video, it should have an associated image. And here we could say if video, it will have, well, let's see, actually no. Let me take that back. Let me take that back because we might do this later. Let's see. Yeah, we might do this later. So let's just be careful here. Let's just do if let here. If it has an image, that's fine. We'll just go ahead and do the image. The reason why I'm refactoring this, we might go back to it, but the reason why, because maybe when we come in here, the video doesn't have an image yet. Maybe just have a media URL. And from that media URL, maybe we make the image later. But for now, this is gonna work. Image data, we have that. So if we have image data, let's go ahead and set up our media image. So media image or media image view dot image equal to UI image.
Everybody.
You finish already?
So everybody this.
Wow, he's done. Can everybody see this?
That is so beautiful.
He did it like in 10 minutes. I was hoping it would take an hour.
Better than the original.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Do the matching the country with the destination thing. Okay?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Was that
Those
the
kids. What's that?
Was that the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah.
Very nice. Well done.
Thank you, thank you. Just trying to keep them occupied. It's a little challenging, but they just fly through the things really quickly. UI image. We're gonna create an image from a data object. So here we use a UI image and the initializer takes in a data object. We have a data object, it's image data. So image data, like that. So at that point, we will be populating our image view with an image by calling configure cell in our cell for row. Okay, we have more work to do later with this, but for now, this just gets our image populated. Any questions about media cell? Okay, cool. So
It looks like a UI image from data automatically converts it back to an image for us.
Yes, exactly. So the initializer for this UI image takes in a data object and it converts it to an image. Yes. So it takes that data blob and it converts that data blob into an image.
That's pretty convenient. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very good. So here we could just say converts data.
It's 3 USAs.
Oh, that's okay, because there's 3 USA monuments, baby. That's why. Okay. Converts data. Miles, please close the door. A data object to UI image. Awesome. So this is what that does. Awesome. So now we go back to media view controller. We go to our cell for row. Cell for row. We go to cell for row. And we'll call our configure cell in that cell for row here. Is everybody okay with media cell? We good? Yes, confirmation, anybody?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Always looking for confirmation because now I don't have video on my end of you guys. So cell I have here. So now I'll just say cell, well, what else we need to do? We need to do something here. Because right now cell doesn't have configure.
You have to downcast it to, or type.
Yes, so now we have to typecast this generic cell here to our media cell.
Don't you also need an image?
We'll get an image. If we don't have it yet, we'll get it. We will get it. Okay, so here I typecast it, and here we put our fatal error. Here we'll say could not DQ media cell. build. So here we have a media cell. Great. What else we need to do here? Mr. Searing. Who's in here?
Searing is not here.
Searing is not here. Let's see who we haven't heard yet from today. Today. Mr. David, I'll call you to, I'll say to unmute here, and can you help us? Please continue this self-row. David, you're on mute. David is probably not at his computer. Okay. Mr. One.
Hey.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Okay, so we're working on our self-row here. And right now, we want to be able to continue working on our code here. So what do we need to do?
Well, we're going to call configure cell. So we're going to need to first get the media object, right?
Very good. Very good. So one says get a media object here. And how do we get a media object?
The media objects array. And you're going to, what do you call, a subset or index or whatever?
So we'll use this index path we have here.
Yeah, index
to
path.
Access the row. Very good. And that indexes into the array. And then you said we call our configure cell, correct?
Right.
And we pass in the media object. Very good. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right, cool. Awesome. So that gives us enough information to pass that object to the cell. And in the cell, we use the image data to populate that image view. Everybody good with that?
Yes.
All right, perfect, perfect. Okay, so let's run the app and test out that piece of functionality. Go to my object library, just select a photo. And just like that, we have a photo populated in here. I could select another photo, waterfall here, and now I have a waterfall. So that works. That part of the image processing works, but we've seen that before, right? We've seen images before. Great. Okay, let us now delve into the video part of this. Any questions? Anybody not able to see the images in the collection view? I'll just pause it to make sure everybody gets that to work.
I don't have enough memory to play my simulator anymore.
Oh, really? What does it say?
When I try to do it, it says, one second. It says the document media cell.swift could not be saved. There is not enough space. Remove some files from the volume and then try again.
Wow. Is your trash empty currently?
Yeah.
Your trash is empty. What else can you delete? Antonio?
Yes.
Can you double check maybe if Lilia like on a Zoom call and see if there's any possibility like she could delete some large file or somewhere?
Sure.
Yeah, just like at least maybe 1 gig or something to get her started. All right, thanks, bud.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, cool. So we have the images. Everybody else okay with images getting populated? Or maybe the video too, like just use one video. I mean, the videos are small, but
Yes.
anything will help. Okay, so we're good with images. Let's keep going. All right, we want to go to the photo part of this. Should we? No, not yet. Let's continue on the video part, on the capturing an existing video. Let's do that part first. Because we could go in here, we could click on a video, right? It doesn't populate yet, right? It doesn't populate yet. So let's work on that part of it. And then we'll continue on. So let's move on to our did finish picking options, the very last function we have here. So navigate down to did finish picking media with options. In here, we have a case that doesn't do anything right now for the video. So let's work on the video part of this, right? Again, if the code is similar, we could refactor some of this, but for now, we are looking for a different object. So already that's different. So for our public.movie, we'll start off by saying if let. What are we looking for the movie? What are we looking for? What are we interested in?
The URL.
The URL. Very good. So we'll be looking for infokey.image.media URL. This is pointing to where that video is. Very good. So here we'll say media URL equal to my dictionary, accessing UI image picker controller dot info key dot media URL. And media URL we said is of type URL. Let me close this so we have more space here. Okay. So media URL we set of type URL. Great. Before we do anything, let's just test this and make sure we're able to get in here by having a simple print statement. So print media URL and what the media URL is, like that. So if I do select a movie, it's going to come in here. I'm using optional binding. If the value does exist, it's going to come inside of our if let statement and print out media URL. Okay, let's see what we have going on here. So run it. Click on it and click on a video. Smallest video is 12 seconds. Choose that. And here we don't have the video populated yet or the object because we haven't created it, but we have a media URL. So this is pointing to my media file. Does everybody have the media URL printed out?
Yes.
Yep.
The kiddos are especially needy today, sorry. This one wants lollipop. There you go, Bobo. All right, close the door for that, please. All right, so we have our media URL. Awesome. That means we have access to that video. Cool. So we have our media URL. A couple of things we could do. We could create an object with the media URL. I'm sorry? Sorry, was there a question? Okay, so we could create an object. Let's go ahead and create an object. Do we have, let's create an object. Media object. We have our media object. We don't have data yet for an image, that's fine, but we do have a media URL and we don't have a caption. Okay, so that creates a valid object for us. We don't have an image yet, but we have access to this media URL here, which we need to unwrap. 1 second, let's unwrap this. Media URL, it's unwrapped here. Media, what type did we do it? Did we give it a type string? That's probably what happened. Let me see.
Yeah,
No convert URL. Okay, so let's change that. Let's go make this a URL. So navigate back to our struct object, our media object, and let's make this a URL. Media, well, let's make, so change your media URL to a URL, not string. Everybody with me?
Yes.
All right, awesome.
Yep.
Now let's navigate back. This error goes away. We have a media object. Well, we have a media object here. And now we could just say media objects, insert the new one in. So append new media object in, like that. Okay. For now, we don't have image data yet. We'll create that later on the fly. But for now, if we go back to our media cell, what happens here? So in here, we have our image data. That doesn't happen, but it creates it. It just doesn't show an image yet, per se. We'll create an image. We could create an image here to do create a video preview thumbnail. Okay, we need to create this
Can you
somehow.
go back to the media? Can you scroll up? We just added it to. So if we change it to URL, why are we still casting it as a URL?
Where am I casting to URL? Well, what type is this?
Is that with a string?
Like I'm coming from a dictionary here. What type
Okay,
is
any.
this? Any, exactly. So that's why we have to cast it to the type we expect.
Okay.
Very good. All right, so this is good. This is good. Any other questions? All right, let's test this out to make sure that at least at minimum, we should be able to add a video. So run it. There's other things we need to do, like have some sort of a preview URL and such like that, but let's just see if our object gets created. So videos, shortest video is 4 seconds actually. So that works. That confirms that we were able to get into our public movie case. We were able to get our URL, and we were able to create an object from that URL and append it to the array, okay? Other things we need to do for that particular video is have like a preview video image and such like that, okay? But for now, we're trying to get to some sort of video, right? We promised video, so let's see how quickly we could get to like playing a video. Was everybody able to create a video object?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Now let's try to play that video object. So when I click on this object, I want to play it. I want to play it somehow. Okay, we're going to be playing this particular video using AV Player View Controller, which is part of, there's two frameworks. There's AVFoundation and there's AVKit. Anybody want to tell me what AV Player Controller is part of? Or just guess? Because we haven't seen it yet, that's fine.
AVFoundation.
AVFoundation, any other answers?
Kit.
AV what?
Kit.
What would you say AVKit?
Just in general, just with UI Kit, it's been that they have more things on it compared to Foundation.
Like UI stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be correct there. Sorry, Greg, you were slightly edged there. Sorry. Is that okay though, Greg?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, okay.
I'm learning.
Okay. So foundation is always like the foundation classes of things, right? Like array for like foundation, strings. So it's very similar there. Like every foundation has like all the foundational components of the framework. But when it comes to like UI and stuff like that, there's the AV kit for like giving us the controller clear. But also we'll see tomorrow, because I don't think we'll get to it today. But tomorrow, so there's two ways you could play a video. One way you could play a video is using AVKit, built-in controller called AV Player View Controller. The other way you could play a video is using AVFoundation and using the layer of a view to play that video. Okay? We'll keep talking about it, but those are the two ways you could play video. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Everybody with me? All right, cool.
Yep.
So we want to play our video here. So let's scroll up to the import statements here, and we'll import AVFoundation, and we'll also import AVKit. And keep in mind, AV Player View Controller lives here. Right? And here for AVFoundation, video playback is done on a CA layer. And here, I'll say video playback. Video playback is done using the AV player view controller. Okay. But keep in mind, there's so much more in AVFoundation. Okay. For the engineers out there, the audio engineers, there's a lot of AV session stuff in there, doing audio, doing video, right? There's just so much more. Whatever we're doing over those few days is just touching the surface. There's so much more there. So if your interest lies with like audio, video engineering stuff, like going deeper into AVFoundation there would be the place to go. Okay, so we have AVFoundation, we imported that, we imported AVKit. Now we could go ahead and write some logic. Let's go to our delegate method.
Sorry, can you, what did you do just now? All you did was just for AVKit?
AVKit is so video playback is done using AV player view controller using AVKit. And if you're using AVFoundation to play video, you do it on the CA layer.
Oh, sorry, okay, cool.
And then for review, all views are backed by a CA layer, right? And then example, if we want to make a view rounded, we can only do this using the CA layer of that view. Example, some view dot layer dot corner yes equal to 8 or 10, for example. So any manipulation you want to do on that view in regards to making it rounded, you have to access the views layer, right? In our case, with playing video, we'll see tomorrow, you want to access the layer to play the video on the layer. What does that mean? I could play a video on a view. I cannot do that with AVKit. AVKit has its own player, but if I'm doing it on a view, I would have to access the views layer. Everybody on the same page here?
Yeah.
Okay, we haven't seen it yet, but that's like where we headed. But for step one, play a video using AVKit built-in controller. Cool? All right, so going back to our did selects, delegate methods, what do we have for delegate methods? We have not a did select yet, so let's create one. So when the user selects a row, did select gets called. So did select item at. So I'm inside of the collection view delegate methods. And I just implemented the protocol method called did select item at, and that gets selected every time a user clicks on a cell, for example. So when the user clicks on a cell, what do we want to do? Well, we want to instantiate, let's call it player view controller, AV player view controller. This is very similar to like doing a UI alert controller, for example, right? So we create this view controller here. So now we have a view controller. At the end of all that, what are we gonna do? We're gonna present the view controller. Player view controller. Okay. At the end of all this, we created a view controller, we present the view controller. And in between, we'll add some logic. Okay. Very similar to like anything else we've done. 1 second. Apologies. Sorry about that. Are we all here still?
Yes.
Okay, you guys did not leave me, right? Okay. All right, so where are we? We're right in did select row at here. I have my AV player. I was talking about we've seen many view controllers get presented before. We've seen alert controllers get presented. We've seen image picker controllers getting presented. So this is just another view controller we present. Everybody with me?
Yes.
All right, I just want to set that up such that we're not like, oh, what's happening here? That's the only thing we are doing, okay? I'm sorry? Am I just hearing things? Okay, whispers. Okay, so we have a player controller. A player controller needs some sort of player of video content. So player controller dot player. We need to give it some player here. We could get a player by saying player equal to AV player. AV player here is the thing that actually has the content, and the content will be getting the content from the URL. You could create a content from an item. We'll get into that later. But now we have the content from that media URL, which the video came from. So this is why we have that URL here. So we have the URL. Oh, we don't have an object yet that has a URL. Let's get a media object. So media object, how do we get a media object? Well, from the array of media objects, index path.row. So here we have a media object. What does a media object have? It has a URL. One more step we have to do. We have to, let's just guard against this. Guard, let media URL equal to media object dot media object dot media. What's happening? What do we call the thing? Video URL? Okay, video URL else just return. So here we have a media URL, or we call it video URL. Just keep it consistent. Video URL. So here we have a video URL. Great. If we do have a video URL, that means we could give this player a valid URL. So video URL. And now the player is happy. The player has a URL. Now we could inject this player view controller with this player that we have, like that. Let's clean that up. So first we have a view controller, which is an AV player view controller. Think of Safari view controller. When we use Safari view controller, it has a URL. It needs a URL in order to render the web page. This is very similar. But in case of just having a URL, we inject it with a player which has the URL it needs. Right? So later we could have access to that player and say player pause, player stop, and so forth in the actual view controller. So we have the player, that's all good to go. At this point, we are good. The only thing we could do, we could play the video automatically. Play video automatically. We've never used really the completion handler on like a present here, but here you could just use the completion handler and say, go ahead, player, play video, right? So that player is coming from this player. The controller has a player, which is the same instance of that player, right? Think of classes, same instance. I could play this player as the video, as the view is on screen, okay? Let's pause here for questions before we actually test this. And again, all this is coming from AV, well, this line is coming from what? AVKit or AVFoundation?
AVKit.
AVKit, very good. So this is coming from, this is a class of AVKit. So if I was to go up here and comment out this line of code, where's our errors? Our errors will be on this line of code because AVFoundation doesn't know about AV Player. Everybody with me? Yes?
Yeah.
All right, cool, awesome. So now put that back, go back to my did select row at, and now let's run our app. So make sure you have a media object. We got that from our array. We use a guard statement to unwrap the video URL because the media object might not have a video URL because it could be an image. Next, we create an instance of a player view controller. Next, we say player, go ahead and instantiate with this URL that we unwrapped here. And next, we say, go ahead, inject the player, the view controller with this player that we just instantiated, and present it and play it automatically. All right, a lot of moving parts, but let's see what we have. So here I click on my photo library. I go to a video. I choose video, compresses the video. I have the video. We still have to work on the preview URL, that's fine. But now if I select this, what happens? Well, the video plays. There's some static on my end here, but the video plays. Is everybody able to play the video? And there's controls here. So AV player controller comes with its own controls. Controls such as I could pause, I could play, the regular controls, I could fast forward, I could rewind, right? All the features we are custom of. I could rewind 30 seconds or 15 seconds in that case. I could go forward. Confirmation everybody's player is working?
Yep.
All right, perfect. And when I'm ready to exit out, I simply exit out by clicking on this X button here. Cool?
My view controller gets presented, but my video doesn't play.
So to play automatically on our completion handler on line 93, do you have this code?
Yeah, it would appear so.
You have that code, right? And you have player.play.
That's correct.
Your video shows, you said?
Yeah, the view controller shows, but not the video itself.
Oh, the video itself doesn't show, so it's empty.
Right.
Okay, so your media.
I am trying on my local device, to be fair.
On your local device, it should still work, because it still gets it from it gets the URL from the device itself. It should still work. Test it on your simulator as well and verify. I'll actually test it on my device as well before we end the day, because there's some other things we need to do on the device. I want to make sure that we could work on both the simulator and the device. So can you hold off for a second?
Yeah, I'll troubleshoot afterward.
Yeah, test on the simulator first, and then let me get my device set up too, so that we could all test the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, cool. Everybody with the simulator, it works for us?
Yes.
All right, cool. So now let me get my device ready. So I'll build this on my device. Build on my device here. Build on my device. I have QuickTime set up, so we should be able to see my device. And let's see. Okay, we all could see my device here. This is my iPhone.
Yeah.
All right. So quickly, what do we see that's different from the simulator and the iPhone? What do we see different? What's different between the two things? It's not a trick.
I feel like this is a trick question.
It's not a trick question. I swear to God.
The video button is not disabled.
The video button is not disabled. Very good. So here on my right is my device. The device has a camera, so it sees the camera. On the left, I have a simulator. It doesn't have a camera, so it disables the video button there. Very good. All right, now let me move on and test what Greg is having. So Greg says when he clicks on his photo library, it accesses the photo library. I want to get to a video. So let me go to video here. And let me get this small video. So I get that video and I click on it. It compresses it. I have the video here. I click on this and it plays the video as well. So Greg, we have to take a look at your code and see what's happening there. Greg?
Sorry, yep, trying something out.
And then I could exit. So this works for both the simulator and the device right now. So let's, everybody for device, please, either now or later, please make sure you could also run on the device up to this point. Okay, I think Luba was asking a question earlier. Luba, are you here?
Yes.
Okay, you were asking a question earlier about the device, correct?
Yeah. It worked.
It works now, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so now let's go to capturing. I want to be able to capture something with my device, like a video. I want to be able to capture a video with my device. Let's see, what's better here? You know what's better? Maybe let's do the preview URL. Let's do the preview URL because the time is coming up here. Let's do the preview URL first. So let's go back to our code and do a preview URL because right now we're not seeing the video per se. So let's do a preview URL. A preview URL is basically like you go to YouTube, that initial image you see there, that's like a preview URL. AVFoundation gives us the ability to do it through one of the APIs. So this is exactly what we'll be doing. We'll create like a preview URL so that the user sees a preview of the video. So we have some extensions to write. For now, let us write this extension. Actually, that's fine. Create a new file. Create a new file. It's a Swift file. And what is this? It's on URL and it gets us back an image. So I'll say URL plus video preview image or video preview thumbnail, something like that. It's an extension on URL. It gets us back some sort of like image URL, video preview thumbnail is fine. And then create this. So we'll write an extension. It extends URL. And we'll write a function here.
My nephew distracted me. What did you just do?
We just created a file and we call the file, it's an extension on URL. And we call the file URL plus video preview thumbnail.
A Swift file?
Yeah, it's a Swift file.
No.
And this is going to be some sort of public function. We'll call it video preview thumbnail. Something like that. And then it returns like some sort of UI image. Could be optional. We need to import AVFoundation here because we need to access some foundation classes. Change foundation here to UI kit because we're returning some UI image. Okay. All right. First, we need an AV asset. So create an AV asset instance. An AV asset is very similar to like the AV player. Basically what it is some asset with a URL. In our case, this is going to be like this. We have an asset, which is of type AV asset, which takes in some sort of URL here. And the URL happens to be self. Whoever calls this is the URL. Self is the instance. What am I talking about? What does that look like? Basically, example. Oh man, the meeting. Example. We might not finish. I'm sorry.
10 more minutes.
I know, but I gotta prep a little bit because that's a long one. Example, if we have our media object dot video URL. When I'm referring to self here, it refers to this URL. Everybody with me? Hello?
Yeah.
Sorry, Alex, can you say that one more time?
Self
Oh, okay. Yeah.
refers to the instance of a URL.
Okay.
Okay. On my media object, I have a URL here. So on that URL, I'm writing this extension here. So anywhere that has a URL, I want to convert it. I simply say video preview dot this. And what does this return? It returns some sort of image for me.
Okay.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so this is what we're after. We have a URL. We want to convert that URL to some sort of image. Okay. AVFoundation allows us to do that with a class called AV Asset Image Generator. So that's like where we headed. All right, I think we're still good. I think we're still good to continue. All right, let's continue on. So we'll create the AV Asset Image Generator is able to convert. The AVFoundation generator is an AVFoundation class that allows, that converts a given media URL to an image. Okay. Step one, get an asset. We have the URL. Step two, create an instance of an AV asset generator. So here we could just call it asset generator. What does an asset generator look like? Well, an asset generator, AV asset image generator, its initializer takes in an asset. We have an asset. This is the asset here. Like, what do you want me to convert? The thing you want me to convert, I need to have it. So this is the thing I want you to convert for me. So far, so good?
Yep.
All right, so let's continue on. Here we want to maintain, the aspect ratio of the video. So we want to maintain the aspect ratio of the video. So here we'll say asset generator dot applies preferred track transform equal to true. Basically, just keep the transform. Don't change it in any way. Do not rotate my video. Don't rotate my image. Just keep it the way it is. Awesome. Next, we need a timestamp. Like, what part of the video do we want? So create a timestamp of needed portion or create a timestamp of needed area, needed location in the video. Okay, so here we need a timestamp. What kind of timestamp we're working for? Here we will use CM time to generate the given second. Let me see how much time I have left here. 6 minutes. Okay. So here we'll use a CM time to generate the given timestamp. And CM time is part of core motion. So not core motion, core media. There's also core motion, but this is not core motion, this is core media. Okay, so here we want to create a timestamp. What does that look like? We'll say let timestamp equal to CM time. So CM time, we're looking for the initializer that takes in some seconds. In our case, it's going to be 1 second, and the prefed timescale. Okay, so choose the one that says seconds here. For seconds, we want to get the first second of the video, and the timescale is 60 seconds. in a minute here. So this is the timestamp. Get me the first second of the video. So here I could say, retrieve the first second of the video. Okay, so here we have our timestamp. Awesome. We want to return an image, which is optional. We could create some sort of image property here, UI image, which is optional. We could return it down here to get rid of any errors. And now for the last bit of code, let's try to do the conversion. So do catch, because the asset generator could throw. And what do we need? We're going to get back some sort of image. The image will get back asset generator dot, we want to copy some image. We have the time. So here we're using this copy image. This is a core, again, this is core media, core graphics framework. The time, we pass in the timestamp we're interested in. The actual time, we don't care about that. We just say nil. So here, what type of image do we have here? Well, we're dealing with core graphics. So we get back a core graphics image, right? Again, this is lower level API. So lower level APIs don't know about UI kit, AV kit, etc. Right? So for example, if I want to change the border or something, 1 second, asset generator, or anything like this if I try. If I want to change the color of a UI view border, for example. Well, the way I would do that, I would say example image, I would say view, well, some view dot layer dot border color. Again, on the layer, what would be a good color here? Can I just say UI color? Everybody on that example, 39. I want to give the border color a color. Can I just say UI color?
No.
I would have to say UI color, for example, dot, let's say green. On green, this is a UI color, and this expects a CG color. So here I would have to say CG color like this. The reason why I'm showing us this, because here we have an image, which is not of type UI image. It's a core graphics image, so we need to convert it later. So here, if I was to option click on this, everybody option click on image, what type do you see?
CG image.
CG image. Now CG image doesn't know about UI image, but UI image knows about CG image, okay? Because core graphics here is a lower level framework. Lower level frameworks do not know about higher level frameworks. What am I talking about? For example, again, a UI view would be a top level API. A layer doesn't know about the view necessarily, but the view knows about this layer. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay. Again, very similar to like subclassing something. If I subclass a collection view, the subclass knows about its parent, but its parent doesn't know about its subclass. Very similar here. At the top level, I have UI view. At the top level, at the bottom level here, I have a layer. Okay. The UI view knows about its layer because it's at the top. It could reference back down, but this layer doesn't know about its view. All right. So here we have a CG image like that. So at this point, we have our image. We are good. We could have a catch here. That's fine. But now we want to do this. We want to say image equal to UI image. And UI image is one of those APIs that just has so many initializers. Look at how we could create those things from system images, from name strings, from image literals, from data, which we did before, from contents of a file, right? A lot of ways you could create an image. One of the ways you could create an image is from a CG image. So here, use the initializer that takes a CG image, and here just pass in a CG image like this. So now we have an image we build. A basic conversion. You have a CG image. The asset generator was able to get us an image for at that timestamp, 1 second. Now we have a CG image. It doesn't get us a UI image. It gets us a CG image. So now we're able to get the CG image converted to a UI image. And now we could return our image at the bottom here. Before we stop, we could just say, give this, so failed to generate image. And then I could just put in an error here. I think we're almost good. And then I'm gonna go to the meeting. Does everybody have this extension written out?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Again, this is not a framework you look at every day. This is an extension, however, that you could use in any project, right? You have this extension, you could use it in any project. You have some sort of video URL, you want to get an image back. This is an extension for that, okay? And we have enough notes there to like go through it if you want to, as you need. Now let's go ahead and use it, and then we'll end lecture because I'm a couple minutes behind meeting here. Let's go to our media URL, and let's go to the media cell. So let's go to our media cell. Navigate over to your media cell. We have a to-do here, actually. This is good. Create video preview. Okay. Let's see what we have. If we have a video URL, from the media object dot video URL. If we have one of those, then what do we want to do? Well, we want to create some sort of image. On the video URL, which we said earlier, on the instance of a video URL, everybody, now we know where that self is coming from. Over here, back here. Everybody still here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have self here. Self refers to this instance video URL. So on video URL, I could use my extension now by saying video preview thumbnail. Oh, I need to fix this. This should be thumbnail. There's missing a B there. So now I have an image, which is optional. I could give it a default image. Actually, let's just do a default image instead of unwrapping it. Let's just do image and give it system image. And just give it like the same video, or make it different. Just do, somebody give me some system name.
Video.fill.
Video, I don't want to do the same video. I want to do something else. Or like
Right.
error, what's that?
Heart.
Say that again.
Heart.
Cart, you said?
Heart.
Oh, heart, oh, sorry. All right, so we do a heart if it goes wrong. So we have an image here. Now we could just say media image dot image equal to image, like this. Perfect. So let's try this out, and then we will be good. Run it.
I'll see you there, Alex.
Yes. Take notes. I'll be right there.
Yeah.
All right. So we have our video up. I'm using the device, but yes, still actually, let me see. No, that's not gonna. I'm using the device. I am clicking on selecting some sort of,
to the code.
Oh, 1 second. So I click on a video. I click on the video. I choose the video. It compresses the video. And here we have the video URL, the video preview. So that works perfectly. That's good. I'll go back to the code and we'll come back here again to verify. What part of the code?
Just that.
Okay. Was everybody able to get the preview image generated?
Yep.
All right.
I
Perfect.
still have my issue too, Alex.
Oh, awesome. Two birds, one stone. That's what they say.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Awesome. So everybody verified that they have a preview happening, right? Yes?
No.
Still verifying.
Works.
Still verifying. I'll come back after the meeting to work with anything that's not. So if I go to the Disney one here, that's gonna preview. And if I scroll down, where is the thing? I'm trying to scroll. I'm trying to use the mouse to scroll my device. So here I also have the Pixar, okay? So that's good. Perfect. All right, so this is a good place to stop. I could play my video as well. If I click on the Pixar, that plays the Pixar movie, which shows the My son's he's watched that movie like maybe 5 times already. It's a good one actually. But be careful with the tiers. And then if I click on this one, that also shows the video. So we are good to